devil, the haters, the bloggers, the papers, the labels, they label me. But they can't relate to our struggle, my nigga, we came up from slavery. Apologies go out to all of my fans cause they waited so patiently. This one is for all of the lost and forgotten black angels that pray for me. A million niggas love me cause I'm ill. The greatest story ever told, niggas in the field. From Solomon to Sambo to Django, it's fact. I'm the Farrakhan of rap and I get it from the wheel. The son of WD, who hung around in the deep, who ran around in the free. The trap gods raised me, face all on the Sphinx, story all on the wall of the pyramids. Niggas know the black god saved me. You can blow the nose off, that won't change it. Obamacare won't heal all that anguish. We came a long way from the bottom of the boat. All praise to the Mac D, we found our language. Gold necklace, middle finger erected. God Travis Shabazz, styling on the record. Lost sons of Muhammad, we wildin' on the record. The Shadu Allah and Lahad is the message. All these niggas, I got to fight one. All these devils, I got to strike some. All these rebels just waiting on the wall cry. Mama said, son, you got to strike drum. Rock nation, celebration, motivation, elevation. Nigga, we made it from slaves on the slave ship. Live from the cotton field, straight to the spaceship.
Operation programs first. This Major Barton said, let's do something a little more fun. How about combat training? Jiu-jitsu. I'm going to learn jiu-jitsu.
Yo, what up, my ninjas, my jivas, my light beings? This is Krishna Shinobi here, Rasika Govindadas, the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. And basically what I'm going to do today is break down how these Japanese writers like Kishimoto, Kubo, Togashi, and Toriyama were inspired by such genius to create their fantastical worlds. Yes, every culture has its piece of knowledge from the divine tree of life, just like every ninja village in Naruto has its own biju. Yet where do they connect? And how do they connect? And what are its origins? How is it possible to foresee true reality and not be trapped in some crazy genjutsu? Well, here I'm going to endeavor to break this illusion and shed some light on how these animes were birthed into existence. And also, while looking at the origins of anime art, or just art in general, we may answer the Aristotelian mimesis and the anti-mimesis. Does art imitate life? Or does life imitate art? Or are they identical? Since the first martial art I studied was ninjutsu, I'll begin with Naruto. You may be asking yourself, how is this person going to critique famous writers like Toriyama? First off, there's nothing new under the sun. And this video is not meant to condemn any of the authors. We know that the Japanese are masters in their own right. We know a lot of the philosophy of the samurai and the ninja are steeped in Buddhism and Taoism, which came from Hinduism, and which Hinduism came from Vedic civilization. So I'll be using the ancient scriptures, the Vedas, to deconstruct these anime in order to get to the essence or the purpose of this art, this life, in order to obtain self-realization.
So Krishna consciousness is somewhat different in that it gives mankind the oldest spiritual scriptures on the entire planet. This can be historically, linguistically, philosophically proven. The Vedic scriptures are the oldest scriptures. And so therefore they help to make a person a better Christian, a better Muslim, a better Hindu. And when one becomes better, perfect, he no longer considers himself of any specific demarcated distinction. But he considers himself as a servant of God.
So what are the Vedas? The Veda has three meanings incorporated into one, which represents the Veda is the power of Sat Chit Ananda, which is the power of God. So one, Sat, Veda eternally exists. It's eternal. Two, Chit, Veda is knowledge itself. It's consciousness. It gives the knowledge of God, and we know God through the Vedas. And three, Ananda, Veda gives the ultimate desirable thing, the divine bliss to the souls. So it says the Veda in the Vedas that it emanated from the breath of Vishnu, which is a plenary expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So this is what the Vedas are. On the topic of the breath of Mahavishnu, in the Vedas, it says that a day and night of Brahma are equal to 311 trillion years. So this is actually one inhale and exhalation of Mahavishnu, which is said to be the total duration of a material manifestation, or our particular material manifestation. So let's get into the timeline. We see here that Christian timeline is kind of chronological. It's kind of in a straight line. We have the beginning, then we have everything in between, then we have the end. Well, Vedic cosmology and time is not like that. It's cyclical. Okay, there's always the golden age, the silver age, the bronze age, and the iron age. The metals represent different levels of consciousness within humanity. But as you see, it's circles in Eastern culture or Vedic culture. And also, as we can kind of look at the life of Brahma, we see that he lives 311 trillion years. A kalpa, or eon, is 4.32 billion years. A manvantara, is a certain amount of million years. A dvipa yuga, which is a combination of all the 4 ages, is 4.32 million years. The Vedas is very detailed, and it's very scientific. It leaves nothing out. It doesn't leave you in suspense or wondering or asking questions. The Vedas answers all your questions. And the reason I kind of want to get into this is how did we find out about the Vedas anyway? Well, it all goes back to a man named Sir William Jones. How do you know what I'm saying to you is true? This is called epistemology. How do we know what we know? So let's get into Sir William Jones. Sir William Jones was born in London. He showed his brilliance since his childhood. He was well versed in Hebrew, Greek, Latin, Arabic, Persian, French, Spanish, and Portuguese language. So we know he has an interest in linguistics. In 1773, he received a master's degree from Oxford University. In 1772, he was made a Fellow of the Royal Society. And in 1783, he was knighted by the British. Jones and his wife came to Calcutta in 1783, where he became a judge of the Supreme Court of India. In 1784, the Asiatic Society of Bengal was founded by him under the patronage of Warren Hastings. The society was formed with 30 Europeans assembled on the invitation of Jones. In his inaugural speech, he told the aims of the society in the following words: "The bounds of its society's investigation will be the geographical limits of Asia, and within these limits, its inquiries will be extended to whatever it is performed by man or produced by nature." All the 30 European men accepted the membership of the new society. This included Sir Robert Chambers, Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, and Sir John Shore, a high official of the government. Sir William Jones' Asiatic Society started to inspire people all over the world. They started one in Paris. They started one in Great Britain and Ireland called the Royal Asiatic Society. America had their own called the American Oriental Society. The German started their own. So many different branches of this was created. So Jones was made the president of the Asiatic Society in Bengal. Jones already knew 27 languages. And he began to study Sanskrit for 2 full years. And this is what he said. "The Sanskrit language, whatever be its antiquity, is of a wonderful structure, more perfect than the Greek, more copious than the Latin, and more exquisitely refined than either." Could you imagine the whole European and British Empire receiving this message from one of their own? They were probably like, what are you talking about? More exquisite than the Greek and French? Back in those, this was the time of after the Renaissance and the Industrial Revolution, it was all about Greek and French language. So when this guy from Britain is saying that there's a language superior than all the European languages, you could imagine how all of Britain and all the European world must have flipped out. Europe was on a roll. The Industrial Revolution, the military, the universities. People in Europe thought that they were the pinnacle of human history. I mean, even the Garden of Eden wasn't as good as this.
They were going around colonizing the world, thinking that it was their duty to civilize everyone. We're the father and every other country is childlike, and we're Christians, and everyone around the world that is not Christian or white, we need to civilize. One of the main activities of the Asiatic Society was to collect old manuscripts of India. There was an enormous collection of Sanskrit manuscripts with the society. By 1849, the society had its own museum consisting of inscriptions in stone and metal and icons of old coins and manuscripts and all different types of books of the Vedas that were in Sanskrit. So if language is the mother of all culture, and these European men are coming into India, seeing scriptures that are saying men in the golden age lived for 100,000 years. And these demigods came down to the planet. And these beings on this planet. This stuff was probably really blowing their minds away. They probably couldn't understand most of this stuff. So just imagine what these people were thinking. If this knowledge hits the world, what is going to happen to the shiny brilliance of Europe? This is post-Renaissance, This is post-Renaissance. So there was an agenda behind these, white men going into India and looking at this stuff. What were they really trying to do? Swami Prakashananda Saraswati gives us an idea of what the true agenda of the British Empire, why they were in India, especially when they started getting all this knowledge. He said that in the essays of Sir William Jones, he condemned the divinity of all the forms of their God and tried to his fullest to destroy their religious image. In his presidential speech in 1786, he tried to destroy the ancient supremacy of the Sanskrit language. And in his 10th speech in 1793, he tried to destroy the authenticity of the ancient history of the Puranas, thus trying to paralyze the total structure of the Vedic culture or Hindu religion. He established certain fallacies, which were made the guidelines for the activities of the Asiatic Society, its members and its associates. They wrote and worked in that specific direction while keeping an outside image that they were doing some kind of geographical and religious research. So we know what's going on with the British Empire. What they were doing in Latin America, what they were doing in Africa, what they were doing in India. We know the deal. So I just want to kind of present this to you so you kind of know, where did the Vedas come from anyway? Okay, we know they come from India. But then when they were realizing that, oh my gosh, this culture extends back billions, trillions of years. Way older than any Christian, any Muslim or Buddhist culture. It extends back so much further than that. This stuff is not from this planet. This stuff is intergalactic. So I just want to kind of give you guys an idea of where we're going with this. We're going somewhere deep. Stay tuned.
So I want to thank everyone for viewing part 1 of Anime World Breakdown. This is just part 1. We're going to get much deeper into the origins of this art. You see, right now we're looking at some of the history, the science, and the linguistics of the Vedas. Please stay tuned as we connect the dots. If you don't see the picture, just be patient. We're going to have some fun and learning and self-discovery. This is Krishna's Shinobi, Rasika Govinda Das, signing out.